How y'all doing? So, I've been planning for this for the past 2 months, and I had this wonderful speech incorporated with my poem that's going to set it up perfectly. I was going to cry a little, and it was going to make you emotional, but I decided to change it up because over the last, I would say, 72 hours, my perspective and my emotions have been fluctuating on our country. And I'm typically a peaceful person, but after these last few killings, the Lord has been working on my heart to eliminate anger and frustration and refill it with peace and love. And it's the hardest thing to do in a world where even myself can be considered a target. And I have a wife now, we've been married almost 8 months, and it's fearful, thank you, it's fearful to my wife when I step outside the door living in Memphis, Tennessee. The mere thought that when I go to work, I may not come home that evening. So it's a harsh and sad reality, but the thing is, we cannot operate in fear. So ever since I was a child, I've had to experience things that children shouldn't have to experience. So when I look at you today and I see you worshiping, you're leading worship, and I see you about to praise dance, and I see you dancing to music, it just blesses my heart to know that there are people pushing and guiding young people to excel in this world. Now, if we don't do it as the church, who else is going to do it? We already seen the system on how we're supposed to be molded as African American men, but I challenge you to understand that you are a king. So tonight, my kings and my queens, you will see how the curse was broken over in my life. Amen. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I saw death for the first time. Brains scattered across the warm pavement due to the hot piece of iron that was blasted from the 9. I can remember clearly. A white cloth laid across a lifeless corpse in the streets with the yellow caution tape blocking my entrance. I can remember. The high-speed chases and the looks on my family's faces when reality sunk in. I can remember the fear of a kid too ambitious to do right at his age and the rage he felt from frequently releasing his anger out on my face, talk about the product of his environment. But what did that say about me? As the naive kid deserving of these experiences, so with the passing of each year, my fear grew near because I was considered too nice, and fight after fight, I tried to defend the essence of who I thought I was because it was the rite of passage into manhood. Manhood that I was taught to be attained from the natural connection with a woman or women, because the higher the number, the better my status, and I was desperate to be accepted. I can remember the pressure that was ghastly, suffocating with no means of escape. My fate seemed to be formed from examples of broken, battered, and damaged males only a few years older than me. Jeffy's still a virgin? You haven't lived until you've been filled with the different rosters and starting lineups of honeys with thick hips. Long heels with low potential relationship I'm promising isn't nothing but an open casket, and their purity would be put to rest upon their consent, and I would eventually move on to the next one. I can remember the tender scars left with each woman I've successfully stolen a part of their being, racks upon racks and stacks within stacks. I became the guy that I never wanted to be. I can remember saying how I'm not like the last guy, but I'm like the next guy that I grew to hate. I mean, how easy is it to sell false dreams, hope, and love, to portray this nice guy persona when all the while my heart was set on one thing and one thing only. I can remember cheating on myself. As if I didn't owe myself respect, dignity, and honor as a man. I can remember the disappointment I felt when another piece of my character was lost to the lustful desires of my heart. I can remember rock bottom. Until I saw the light. Piercing the deep fog of my failures, and a voice from heaven screaming loudly within my presence, my son. If you would only turn from your wicked ways and come home, I can heal you. Like the woman with the issue of blood, or the man with no feelings in his legs, how lame and blind men receive their sight and how dumb ears become smart, healed, and hear the good news of the gospel. Do you remember how they tore their clothes, yelling, blaspheming? But I gave 12 loaves and more fish than they can eat, and some, my son. You have to remember when I opened Thomas's eyes and allowed the 11 to see the holes drilled and sliced into my flesh and side. See, I remember the weight and the burden of the world seemed grasping onto my body as death surrounded me. And I looked up at heaven, hoping our Father would forgive you, but why would he forsake me? I can remember dying so that you can receive blessings upon blessings in my Father's house. And after all I've done for you, no longer will you draw your identity from sexually still enjoy from women. No longer will your past experiences hinder you from success. No longer will you grow up in separation and isolation from my presence. I have called you ready to die for my name's sake. I can remember the wonderful calling on your life, my son.
Yes.
I remember you. Thank you.